Hello everyone, welcome back to the Human Reviews channel, and today we are listening to Remain in Light by Talking Heads. We have been doing nothing but classics recently. Like, my previous 3 reactions have all been classics. We did the Talk Talk album, we did In the Court of the Crimson King, and now we're doing Remain in Light as well. We're doing nothing but the classics, playing nothing but the original heaters, you know what I'm saying? And I'm honestly happy about it, because I've been loving listening to these older celebrated albums. It's been great. Remain in Light. I have heard 2 songs off this album. I've heard Crosseyed and Painless, and I've heard The Great Curve. I have not been able to stop listening to Crosseyed and Painless recently. I have had that song on repeat so much. It is such a good song. It is perfect. It is literally like the song that made me want to cover this album as soon as I have. It is mind-blowing how incredible that song is, okay? And if the rest of the album can live up to that, this is going to be, like, a absolute favorite for me. This album came out in 1980. It is 8 songs, 40 minutes. That kind of surprised me. I didn't expect it to be only 8 songs, but that's cool. I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with some of these longer songs. They got a couple 6-minute songs on here. There's a 5-minute song as well. I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with these longer lengths for the tracks. And with that being said, I think I'm just going to get straight into this. Alright, track 1, Born Under Punches. The Heat Goes On. A very funky start. I love what the bass is doing here. I love the little slap bass bits that are being added in here. It sounds fantastic. The production, firstly, is the first thing I want to point out. This the production is absolutely gorgeous. The sound of this is amazing. Never seen anything like that before. Oh, take a look at these hands. They're passing in between us. Take a look at these hands. The other thing I want to mention is David Byrne's amazing vocals. I love everything I've heard with Talking Heads. One of my favorite things have been David Byrne's vocals. I think they are so captivating. They're so charming. They're so silly, but at the same time very endearing. I think it matches perfectly with the sound of what they're going for here. I absolutely love his vocal performance here. Yeah, I did see that Brian Eno helped produce this. I noticed he does that same thing on Crosseyed and Painless, where he's repeating and the heat goes on and the heat goes on, repeating it. Where he's like repeating the most catchy part of the song over and over again. He does the same thing on Crosseyed and Painless, where he says, what does he say? He says, "I'm still waiting," over and over again. I wonder if that's going to be like a running thing that he does a lot on this album. I like the fade out. Fade out makes sense here. It works. That was good. That was very good. Yeah, that was a very funky, energetic opener. Incredibly captivating, silly, charming vocal performance from David Byrne. Catchy as all hell. The Heat Goes On thing going over and over through the track. That is so catchy. I can guarantee that's going to be stuck in my head like Crosseyed and Painless has been for like the past week. Yeah, this is a great tone setter of an opener. Yeah, I have like little to no complaints. I really, really like that. I don't think it's like the most mind-blowing song of all time. It's just very catchy, fun, and enjoyable. And sometimes that's all you need. I would give the song a 9.3. That would probably be closer to around like a 9.7 now, you know, somewhere in like that high 9 range. Very strong way to start the album off. Next up, a song I've already heard, a song I've not been able to stop listening to recently. We have Crosseyed and Painless. Lost my shape, trying to act casual. Oh, bro, shit's so good. I'm ready to Like, come on. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. This is, like, actually perfect right here. It is, like, it takes how funky and fun and fresh the first song was, and it just cranks it up to 11 here. This is, bro. Like, there is no song that is able to make me move as much as this song does, you know what I'm saying? This is, like, it's so good. Having the cowbell going through it sounding like a metronome, that's so cool. I agree, this is so good. The vocal performance is even like a step up here from the previous track somehow. Hey, he even starts spitting some bars on this track as well. I mean, come on. There are certain songs that I feel like everyone can enjoy. This is one of those songs. I can't imagine... I just don't... I can't imagine someone not, like, thinking this is at least a fun song. This song, for me, is a 10. This is one of the catchiest songs I have ever heard. It has been stuck in my head for days. I've not been able to stop replaying it. I love this song. To a degree that I don't love... like, even, like, other songs that I've given 10s. This song is, like, a step above. This is, like... I imagine with time, this is gonna grow to be within maybe, like, my top 50 songs of all time. This is so ridiculously good, in my opinion. It ain't that good? It is. For me, it is. I love that song to such an insane degree. It's insane. It's amazing. Yeah, like, that song was basically the reason I'm listening to this album, like, as soon as I am, you know what I'm saying? It's actual heat. It's actual heat. Next track, the only other song I've already heard off of this album, we have The Great Curve.
Sometimes the world has a load of questions. Seems like the world knows nothing at all. There's messages for everyone. The world.
Super creative solo. That's so cool. I'm surprised at how catchy this album is. That's not what I expected from it. Like, I didn't expect every song to be as catchy as Crosseyed and Painless was. The way I just noticed that the way every single different vocal take there all combines into that world of, like, I thought it was all different takes, but no, it's all of, like, those same takes being mashed into one there. I thought that was just switching to a completely different one. That's cool. I never noticed that. Like, I love how much fluidity this song has, like, particularly with the vocals, the way all of these different takes are moving in and out of sync with each other. Yeah, I'd heard that song before, but it had been a little while since I've heard it. I didn't actually remember too much about it. That was just as good. Well, maybe not just as good, but it was almost as good as Crosseyed and Painless. I'd give that song a 9.8. It's bordering on a 10. That is just 6.5 minutes of just pure, insane, catchy, funky energy that is so infectious, so lively, so vibrant. It doesn't waste a single second. Like, everything feels so intentional. The fluidity of the song, the way it switches up, the two solos that are in there, the one in the middle of the track and then the one right at the end. That was just as good as I remember it being. That was actually amazing. This album is very impressive so far. I'm loving this. Next track, Once in a Lifetime.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself, how did I get here? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down.
That's this song? I've heard this. Okay, I didn't know this was a Talking Heads song.
Where is that large automobile? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. Same as it ever was. 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 Same as it.
I'm been impressed by the use of the fade outs on this album. Has every song had a fade out up to this point? I think every song's had a fade out, and I've actually liked all of them. All of the fade outs have felt appropriate, which is something that like never happens when I'm listening to an album. I normally hate the fade outs. I've heard that song before, obviously. That is a pretty iconic song. I had no clue it was a Talking Heads song, to be honest. I legit had no idea. I didn't even recognize it from the title either. Yeah, that song is iconic. It's fantastic. Surprisingly fits really well in context to the album as well. How's the album been so far? You never heard Talking Heads before? This album has been fucking heat so far. Front to back bangers. Well, we're only halfway through, but it's been nothing but bangers so far. So that song's just as catchy as all the others. Maybe I'm a little biased in its catchiness because I've heard it so many times before, but I feel like it does genuinely fit in on this album. It is genuinely very sweet, again, very vibrant and unique. It is just so sweet and so, I guess, uplifting. That's a surprising thing about this album is how uplifting it's been. Like, this has been a surprisingly, like, very cheery, goofy, fun album up to this point, but done in, like, the best, most impressive and charming way possible. Yeah, Once in a Lifetime. Very good song. Not my absolute favorite up to this point, but it's fantastic, and I'm kind of shocked that this song was on this album. But it's cool. I give that one a 9.6. Very good. Man, I'm tired. Next track, Houses in Motion.
For a long time I felt, without style or grace, that is what he believed. He'll keep on digging for 1,000 years. Get out of the way, no time to begin. This isn't the time, so nothing was done. Not talking about nothing at all.
The vocals sound sort of off-key in a good way. Yeah, my favorite thing about this album so far has definitely been David Byrne. His vocal performances are the thing that stand out the most to me. Like, his singing is just so infectious and so lively. Like, he's just such a charismatic presence on this album that it's just the thing that I've been, like, paying the most attention to, like, by far. Ooh.
I'm walking alone. I'm visiting houses in motion.
You know, you were kind of cooking with this right here. This does definitely remind me of Stevie Wonder. I will say, out of every song so far, this one is my least favorite, but not by a lot. This song was still extremely catchy. I think this one had still a very funky instrumental that stood out a lot. David Byrne still providing an incredible vocal performance. I feel like the pacing is still fantastic. It's just out of every song so far, this is just the one that stood out to me the least. It's still incredible. I still think it's like an amazing song that I'm going to be returning to a lot. But I just feel like in comparison to the other songs, it is my personal least favorite up to this point. I would give this one... I think I'll give this one an 8.8. 8.9. It's like bordering on a 9. Okay, it's an 8.9 for me. This one actually grew a little bit on a re-listen to be about like a 9.2. Still amazing. Still absolutely fantastic. Just of all the tracks up to this point, it's my personal least favorite. Next up, Seen and Not Seen.
He thought that some of these faces might be right for him. And that
I'm liking the very robotic performance on this on this
first
song.
momentary impulse. Some have gotten halfway there.
Legit. This is by far the most chill song on the album up to this point, and I really appreciate that. I should differentiate my treats, like maybe get my viewers to vote for the song rating. Oh, figure out like a general rating for it. That could be cool. Doing like my rating for the album and then general rating for the album. Anyway, Seen and Not Seen. It's the most chill on the album up to this point, and I really appreciate it. It has a very robotic vocal performance that I feel like fits the tone of the song very well. It's so weird and like off. Feels like being in some sort of like limbo state in like a dream or something like that. I don't even know. The song was very odd, but that makes it very appealing to me. Like, I feel like it scratches a very particular itch in my brain that makes me appreciate it a lot. It's not one of the ones I'm going to return to the most, but I feel like it's going to be one of my favorites on like an album listen. So for that reason, I'm going to give this one a 9.4. My scores for the previous two songs have basically switched. I still really like Seen and Not Seen. I think it's absolutely great, but I don't love it quite as much as when I first heard the album, and I'd probably give it closer to like an 8.9 now. Because I don't feel like I like it more than the first song. Next up, we have Listening Wind. Ooh. Damn.
The foreigners in growing numbers, PCs, the foreigners in fancy houses, deep dreams. The wind in my heart, the wind in my heart, drive them away, drive them away. No chic plants devices through the free trade zone. When to guide him on his mission, he knows his friend the wind is always standing by.
I can see that, Givo, yeah. Okay, Fade Out. Probably my least favorite Fade Out so far, but I don't think it's terrible. Of all of the songs so far, that was lyrically my favorite. I actually got invested in the story of that track. I got very invested in what he was talking about there with, I'm guessing this, with it being this person and the Americans came and invaded and built all fancy houses and are using these people as slaves. I felt like that was done in a very interesting way. And it was very well written, and David Byrne's vocal performance really helped to elevate that. But I will say there is a part of me that's missing the very high energy, fun, catchy tracks at the beginning. I feel like these a song like this, I as much as I still think it was a very solid song, one that I feel like is still strong as all hell, and that I don't think is like, it doesn't have anything bad about it. I just kind of do miss the very energetic and, you know, vibrant, over-the-top stuff that was towards the beginning of the album. But that's not to say, again, it's not to say the song is bad, you know, it's still good, you know. I still would give it like an 8.8, but I just don't feel like it appeals to me as much as some of the earlier tracks, you know what I'm saying? Final track, The Overload.
Terrible signal. I value these moments.
Is there something off of the Pink Floyd's The Wall? You know, it's kind of ironic. I just said about that previous song that I was missing the more catchy, over-the-top, silly stuff that was at the front of the album. But honestly, this really slow, foreboding, menacing track at the end here is actually, like, very strong. This is such a strong way to close this. Like, this is so effective. What? That's a crazy comment right there. And that was Remain in Light. Whoa, voice crack. That was Remain in Light. Pretty fantastic. This album lived up to my expectations. It was great. This closer, The Overload, very good. I love how foreboding and menacing it is. It feels like something like disgusting, like being unveiled or something like that. It's legitimately such an effective way to close the album off. It reminds me of the album cover a lot. Like, this song feels the most like it fits with the album cover, if you get what I mean. Like, all of these people's faces like being turned into digital mush or whatever. It's very cool. It's a very nice closer. It's not my absolute favorite song on the album or anything like that, but I will say it definitely is very effective, and it feels like a very fitting way to end an album like this off. 9.4 for me. Very good. Great closer. Remain in Light. It's a very good album. Fantastic album. A classic for a reason. I don't think it's like a 10 out of 10 or anything like that, but I feel like the front half of this album is packed with insanely catchy, fun, high-energy songs that I feel like would fit in the background of like any honestly, any situation. I could see myself returning to like the front half of this album a bunch, because like every song on the front half is just banger after banger. Like, it is nothing but heat. And then the second half slows it down a little bit. It reveals a more intense, emotionally impactful, deeper side to the album that I feel like isn't quite as strong as the first half, but still has its moments where it reaches such insane highs, like on the closer here and on Seen and Not Seen as well, that it still is like great. It's not as great as the first half, but it still is like just really well put together, insanely well paced. I feel like the flow of the album is also strong as hell as well. This is just an insanely enjoyable experience front to back, and one that I only imagine will grow on me with time. Yeah, this album is absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna add up my scores, and then I will tell you what my overall score for this album is. This is one of the few times where I get an actual like exact on the dot score. I'm feeling a 9.4, and exactly a 9.4, not like a 9.432 or anything like that. It's exactly a 9.4. I don't see that a lot. Yeah, this album's incredible. Lived up to the hype. I am so glad to have finally checked this out. I'm definitely going to be returning to this thing numerous times in the future, probably a lot. And I am only imagine this thing will grow on me, to be honest. This is just an insanely enjoyable, impactful, fun, energetic as hell listen that I feel like anyone who hasn't heard this album should definitely check it out at least once, because I feel like at the bare minimum you're going to come out really enjoying probably Crosseyed and Painless and The Great Curve. I feel like those are two songs that I feel like anyone can really enjoy. And that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe. We're on our way to 2,000 subs, okay? We're trying to hit it quick. Let me know what other albums you want me to listen to in the future, what other Talking Heads albums you want me to listen to in the future as well. Let me know what you thought of this album down below. Do you love it, or do you think it's overrated? Check out the links in the description to my Discord, gaming channel, Twitter, and my album of the year. Check those all out if you haven't yet. Again, subscribe, and I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye-bye.